Welcome to my video review of the Bunn Trifecta MB. This is the home version of the Bunn Trifecta model. The commercial versions of this go for thousands of dollars. I think the retail on this was around $700 when they came out. It is interesting because it is kind of the culmination of an AeroPress and a Keurig single cup maker. Maybe like a Clover machine that Starbucks has taken over with the single source beans that they offer for their high-end mug of coffee. It's got a couple interesting features. First off, it doesn't have a power switch. You plug it in, it has an internal boiler to keep the water warm, and you can hear it a little bit right there, but overall it's pretty much silent once that water gets up to temperature. It has a removable water tank, but it's just a single serve, so whatever you put the water tank to, that's how much coffee you're going to get out. The coffee brewing is controlled by these two knobs here, and these control turbulence, so how much the coffee is stirred in the cylinder, and infusion time controls 40 seconds to 3 minutes. And this is interesting because it actually changes the notes of your coffee. You can go from a very bright brew to a very bold, robust brew on the same bean. So if you're into roasting your own beans and then experimenting with different brew types, this machine allows you to do that without having to go from a drip to a pour over to a French press. You can kind of get a lot of different notes from the same bean out of this machine. So the cylinder that I'm talking about is this. It's got a metal mesh filter in there, so there's no paper to go in, no disposable, and it's got a valve on the bottom that allows the coffee to brew in this cylinder, and then the air pressure forces it out through the bottom. Now, Bunn is known for making the gold cup standard on their machines, and this machine is no different. It runs within 5 degrees of 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Plus or minus 5 degrees is what the gold cup standard is. And I've measured the temperature on this, and it comes out at about 195 down here, meaning that when it's up in the cylinder brewing, it's definitely in that 200 degree range. So it's hitting that gold cup standard, and you can really taste it with the coffee coming out of this. So I'm going to start, since I have 8 ounces here, I'm just going to do a mounded scoop here. So just a single mounded scoop in the cylinder. And I have the settings to low infusion time and high turbulence. So you'll be able to see that. What you do is you just slide the cylinder in, and then it locks in place. And then you hit the brew button. You get lights here and lights down here, so you can see what's going on. And you can see that the cylinder is filling with the water from the tank, but it's not the water directly from this tank. It's got an internal boiler that it's filling this to. So it'll only fill as much water as you put in here, but the internal boiler, I believe, has 12 ounces of water in it ready to go. I've got my thermometer here in my cup to catch the temperature of the coffee coming out. You can see the turbulence going on right now, and that'll keep going throughout this cycle of 40 seconds, which 40 seconds isn't very long to brew a cup of coffee, but one of the interesting things is with this air pressure forcing out the coffee, you get a lot of that flavor because it doesn't leave any of the moisture behind. It actually dries out those grounds really well. You should pretty soon start getting that air pressure. Thing to note, You're going to want to have your cup underneath here when you start your cycle, because it does just come out. I'm looking at the temperature now. I'm seeing temperature at 195 for my cup of coffee, which indicates to me that it's really, hitting that 205, 195 to 205 mark in here when it's brewing. Really impressive. Like I said before, for the person that grinds their own and roasts their own beans, this machine lets you get many different flavors out of the same bean. Coarse grind because of that mesh filter. And if you see one of these around, pick it up because it's a great machine. And if you love experimenting with flavors for coffee, this is the machine to go with. Thanks a lot.